Hey guys, I'm Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm talking about everything I watched in December. So I watched a lot of things in December. Overall, I watched 30 movies and TV shows. Depending on how long this video is, I might split it up into two parts, but we're gonna have to see. The first show I watched was The Office. Another good time with The Office. It is a good show and I do enjoy it. The next show I watched was Abbott Elementary. I do think the last episode, the Christmas episode, was decent, but I do think season 2 just is not on par with season 1. I'm just very disappointed in season 2. The next movie I watched was Knives Out. Now, I had absolutely no intention of watching Knives Out. I've never had any interest in that movie, but there was one time I wanted to watch something out in theaters, and that was when Knives Out Glass Onion was out, and I wanted to check it out. I ended up not going, and then I found out it was only out in theaters for a week, but my parents and I decided we would watch Knives Out. Wow. That movie, nope, I did not like it at all. And honestly, like Rian Johnson, clearly his kind of movies are not my speed, because I didn't like that Star Wars Last Jedi either, so nope, not my kind of director. The next movie I watched was Gone Girl. Now, I'd heard a few things about Gone Girl. I heard like my parents' opinion about the movie. Like, I heard some things about the movie, and I kind of felt like I probably have been spoiled too much about the movie to enjoy it. No, I had a really good time. Now, the only other David Fincher movie I watched was The Social Network, and I really enjoyed that movie. I think it's very well directed and a good movie in general, and this one was also a really good movie. I was really impressed with just the music and the directing choices and just the story overall. I was very impressed with it. I thought it was good. I'm still figuring out how I feel about the ending, because I don't know if my opinion on the ending is affected by other people's opinion on the ending. I don't know. But overall, I really did enjoy the movie. I was very intrigued throughout the movie. I was having a great time watching it, so I'm really glad I did. The next show I watched was Seinfeld. Now, over the years, I've watched the show, and my family, we'd watch episode by episode, whatever, but it was never like really chronologically. So there were so many Seinfeld episodes I've never seen. But eventually we had finished one episode sometime in December, and I was like, you know what? Let's just watch this a little bit more. So I independently was watching Seinfeld. I started at about season 6. And I was working my way up to the end of season 8. I was having a really great time, and I'm really glad I did it because I'm still having a good time. I tried the start of season 9, and I just wasn't as entertained. I mean, I only started it for 5 minutes, so I might go back to season 9. But right now, I'm currently on season 5, so I'm getting into that. But there's been a lot of really funny episodes and moments. I'm just really entertained by this show, and I'm really glad that I decided to watch it. The next show I watched was Wizards of Waverly Place. So this year I've watched an episode through 1 or 2 months, but it's been a good show to watch, but just this time watching it just wasn't as good. Maybe I found the wrong episodes to watch, but I just haven't been as entertained as I used to be by the show. The next movie I watched was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This movie was interesting. I really didn't buy into, like, the love these people had for each other. Yeah, I just didn't see, like, these two actors, any sort of connection between them. I really didn't see it at all. And I understood what both parties were trying to do, why they were doing what they were doing, but I just didn't buy it. It wasn't my thing personally, so I think it was nice that I watched more of a 2000s era rom-com movie, but this one just wasn't my kind of movie. The next movie I watched was The Fallout. Earlier this year, I'd gotten HBO Max, and I had that on my watch list, but I didn't end up watching it, and after watching Wednesday, I knew Jenna Ortega was in this movie, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to watch this, but let's give this a shot. You know, I watched the trailer, it looked like it could be good, so I watched it. I feel like the movie was well done. I think what it was going for was good, and the conversations they were having, and it kind of put it in perspective, that sort of situation. But sometimes some things were a little ridiculous, and maybe that's the point because it's a teenager and sometimes teenage angst and whatever else. But I do think at the end, because at first I was like waiting for the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, that is the end, because they kind of like leave it off, because, well, it is about a school shooting, so they kind of leave it off where it's a text saying, hey, just because they are survivors, something else has happened to someone somewhere. Which, yes, I would have liked a lighter ending, but I understand why they did that, because it was about a conversation besides just having a movie. I do think the parents were... It didn't feel like they had proper supervision on their kids. I was a little surprised about that. But then again, you know, there's movies like that, there's movies like Easy A. Those parents are so ridiculous. It's like, you know, parents are supposed to be parents, not friends of their kids. But, you know, I guess they are trying to be the cool parents, but it just doesn't make sense to me. So I think from a standard critical perspective, it was good. From an entertainment standpoint, not so good. And obviously it was a tougher subject, but it was interesting. So, do I regret watching it? A little? It wasn't that great, but it was interesting. The next movie I watched was The Heat. Now, I had seen that GIF, the one where Melissa McCarthy is throwing the book, you know, that one, and I knew it was from The Heat. I never watched it. I decided to give it a try. Now, the other Melissa McCarthy movie I'd watched recently, or semi-recently, was Identity Thief, and I didn't really like that one. I thought maybe this one could be good. This also was a movie I was not entertained. Nope. No, I didn't like it. I did like Melissa McCarthy in that Gilmore Girls show, but obviously she plays a very different character with being, you know, one of those nice, soft type people, you know, just very friendly and nice, and obviously pretty much all of her movie roles are so much not that. So I don't think that kind of personality type I like. And just this movie, it just wasn't something that entertained me. The next movie I watched was Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. So I had been so excited when I heard that there was going to be a movie about Weird Al. I was really looking forward to it. And then eventually they revealed that it's not actually going to be a story about him. It's going to be a parody of a story about him. It's going to be all funny and weird. And I understand why they're doing it, because obviously Weird Al's whole thing is doing parodies of songs, which I understand. But the movie, it really was weird. So, like, I guess it did its job, but some parts were good, some parts no. I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed with it, but it was fun to hear some of his music in the movie. Obviously those parts were good, because that's the stuff that you like. And actually, because of watching that movie, I was listening to a lot of Weird Al songs, so I will be having my top songs of December video coming out very soon, so stay on the lookout for that, because one of Weird Al's songs is like at the top. The next movie I watched was Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. Now, I really love this movie. I would say this is probably like one of my top favorite movies, okay? Like, I really love this movie. Now, what's funny is I actually had a conversation with my friend Robin from the book Wormhole. I'll link her channel down below. But we were talking about the fact that movies with animals, especially dogs, usually those dogs are in harm's way. And it's like, wow, actually you're right. Like, of all the things, like, people have more of an attachment to an animal than, like, people. Any kind of person. Like, babies, no. Kids, no. Animals, yes. Especially dogs. And the fact that these movies almost always have them in such mortal danger. Like, what's up with that? But anyway, I love this movie very much. It's just very good. There are definitely some parts of the movie where it's like, oh, that's so hard to watch because the animals are in danger. But it's just a very entertaining movie. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's deep, it's the whole package of a good movie. Oh, but the ending is so happy. So, if you have never watched the movie, you had better go and watch that movie because it is awesome. It is really great. The next movie I watched was Homeward Bound: Lost in San Francisco. Nope, I should not have watched this one. Now, even as a kid, I did not think this movie was really good. And usually, whenever I watch the first Homeward Bound movie, I don't watch this one. But for some reason, I was kind of wanting those animals again, and I was like, well, this movie is right here. You could just watch it. And I decided to, and I wish I didn't. It's just not that good. And I really don't like how both Chance and Shadow, those are the two dogs, that the dogs that they have play the part look so different from the dogs from the first movie. Obviously they're the same breed, but they don't look the same. Like, the golden retriever in the first one is a standard golden retriever, but obviously in the second one it was a red golden retriever. It's like, why'd you do that? But the movie in general, just quality was so damn bad, just not good. Yeah, I was not entertained at all. I wish I hadn't watched it again. At least it was an experience, I suppose. The next movie I watched was Brother Bear. Now, for some reason, on Disney Plus, I had added this to my watch list many months back. For some reason, I decided to watch it, and I wish I didn't. I was not entertained or anything. To be fair, some of these moments in the movie I had forgotten about because it's been years and years since I first watched it. But yeah, I don't think I ever thought it was a good movie, but at least as a kid I was semi-entertained, but this time I was, no. Also, I did forget that he did not actually truly turn back. He'd actually turned back but then decided to live life as a bear. I did forget about that. But yeah, that movie is just not my thing. The next show I watched was a stand-up special, Sebastian Maniscalco, Is It Me? Now, there were some parts of this special that I was entertained by that I, well, maybe not laughed, but was like, oh, that's funny, you know? You know those laughs where you're not actually laughing, you're just like, oh, that was a good joke, but your face is like this, you know? So, I was not very impressed with this special. Some things I agreed with. Majority of the special, though, I just wasn't entertained by. I was disappointed. Also, I really hated how he ended the special. It was just so, it felt like he had more jokes to say and Netflix just cut him short. But, like, it could be that, or he really did decide to end it like that. Like, it was, there wasn't anything even funny about the end that he had. It was like, why did you end your special here? So, I basically wish I hadn't watched it, but, you know, you try, you lose sometimes. The next movie I watched was What About Bob? Now, I had watched this movie plenty of times with my parents as a kid. I, multiple times, was not as into it. And I was kind of like, why do my parents always watch this movie? But watching it again this time, I was very entertained. And I feel like, not that a kid can't watch it, but sometimes you gotta be a little older to appreciate this movie. So I'm really glad I watched it. It was very funny, and I do remember so much of my life we would quote that movie because it is just very funny. So I'm glad I watched it. It was crazy, it was nuts, but it was very fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. It would really help and support me. See you guys next time. Bye!